In the reference of landfills, okay, maybe you don't have to pay for it now, but in 20 years when they're full, you're still going to end up paying for it. So why push that responsibility onto someone else?
But don't you think the citizens have a right to decide if they want to go along with this?
I don't think that citizens have the right to be wasteful more than someone else.
Wait, you said what?
My name is Don. I'm a professor of geology and a professional climate scientist. I've published in the field for many years.
My name is Andrew. I studied environmental science policy and management. I'm a consultant that specializes in sustainable tourism.
My name is Natalie. I'm a local government consultant, and I believe that anthropogenic climate change is real.
My name is Michael. I'm the vice president of a non.
Guys, this will be good. You guys, these are all educated people, chat. It's gonna be a very a discussion.
That concerns itself with the threats to Western civilization.
My name is Dr. James Enstrom. I'm a physicist and epidemiologist, and I'm passionate about scientific integrity.
My name is Keith Hardeen. I'm a constitutional rights activist, and I'm concerned about the future of the next generations.
May I please have my activists to the left and my skeptics to the right?
Remember the Jan 6th Capitol riot shit? We're on its 1-year anniversary.
I believe
it's sort of like a recap ever since
global warming should be our number one concern.
Wait, what was the question? I have a global warming should be our number one concern.
Global warming should be our number one concern.
Okay, it shouldn't. Oops, sorry.
There's obviously a lot of issues that our politicians deal with and that as a society we can care about. But if our Earth is moving in a direction to where our species cannot survive.
But guys, it should be high, but number one, like, dude, chill.
Then homelessness, then all of the other issues that are out there are going to be irrelevant because we won't have a place to live.
I agree that there are many issues that are important at the local.
I'm wondering how bad it is, but why do you guys always act like everything needs to be number one at the same time? You guys need to understand that they can only be one number one. Do people not understand this concept? They can only be one number one. Only one. There can be 20 of them. There can be 20 of them. There can't. Okay? Motherfucker, I'm sure that there's smart people out there, dude, that are going to make it like number whatever, right? And it gradually get better as other problems get better. Because I feel like there are problems that make it worse. And by fixing those problems, you fix the root and not the branch.
Local level, and we're not doing a great job with a lot of things, but things like extreme droughts and extreme heat waves and devastating hurricanes and tornadoes are going to make life harder on us no matter where we come from and no matter what our economic background.
Really, if you want to look at it as an issue of health, I don't see why everyone wouldn't be concerned and everyone wouldn't be participating in ways to reduce the impact of climate change or reverse global warming.
Brother, what is that? Hey, motherfucker. Maybe poverty? Maybe people starving? Motherfucker, I'm sure that they're motherfucking.
No matter what the United States does, it's not going to make an impact on the worldwide greenhouse gas emissions as long as China and other parts of the world are increasing the greenhouse emissions. It puts the United States.
Okay, chat. You're right. It's number one, dude. Motherfucker, let's all quit our jobs and I'll become eco-friendly Andes. If it was the number one priority, what is wrong with
economic disadvantage when we try to transform our lives and the other countries just simply ignore these efforts.
The United States seems to be the most held responsible for the global warming, for doing something about it. And that's what bothers me. You know, we have a constitution, and nobody ever considers that constitution the importance of protecting the natural rights of the individual. And I think global warming is an infringement on those rights. When I say global warming, at least the agenda of the political aspect of it.
I think it's time to change how we live. I really...
The guy said what?
Constitution, and nobody doing the most held...
these efforts.
The United States seems to be the most held responsible for the global warming, for doing something about it. And that's what bothers me. You know, we have a constitution, and nobody ever considers that constitution the importance of protecting the natural rights of the individual. And I think global warming is an infringement on those rights. When I say global warming, at least the agenda of the political aspect of it.
I think it's time to change how we live. I really do. Which we have seen how changing our habits, changing the resources.
Guys, I always feel like it's kind of odd when there's like things like moral and ethics and like you can do the right thing, whatever. And people always bring laws and you have the right and you have the right to be a fucking asshole. You can be an asshole if you want to, but you know
that we use and what we pump into the air.
Sometimes
now we reversed that hole in the ozone. We've seen how it can change, and we can change it, but we're going to have to make changes.
Well, I don't believe that climate change is our biggest problem because I don't believe that man has anything to do with it. Climate has changed since before man existed on the planet and will continue when man is gone.
As a professional climate scientist who's done this for 50 years, I'm afraid you're not correct. The climate evidence is very, very clear. And probably the clearest evidence of all comes from ancient records where we can actually see what the planet was like before.
You guys say it's true, because you guys don't factor in the amounts or whatever. It's always like, it goes up and down, like up. Dude, motherfucker, did you look at the graphs and shit?
This is why climate scientists, 99% on almost every study of climate scientists, shows that we're as unanimous as the scientific community ever gets, and that this evidence is real, and that it's happening, and it's happening on every scale, from the ice caps to the ocean. Every place we look, we get the same answer.
No, I'm not a climate scientist, but I know a lot of them. And I've heard exactly the opposite argument made. Thousands of...
Guys, it's not if you have water, okay? That in Celsius, motherfucker, it's 10 degrees, 15 degrees. And then it goes to 5, 20, up and down. And all of a sudden, it starts boiling because it's at 180 degrees. Dude, it's boiling. And it goes, no, dude, it's just getting hot, okay? Time has shown that the water will go up and down. It's just, right now, it's just hot. Settle down.
Of scientists just in the United States signed a letter saying man has little, if any, effect on climate.
So they're all climate scientists. That's the point.
Yes, they are.
No, actually doing climate research and publishing in it.
Yes, they are.
I don't believe it.
Yes, they are.
I know people who have been affected by environmental regulations.
Yeah.
So what?
Wow, everybody agrees on this one.
I have a very good friend. He is a trucker. He was able to be successful and maintain a career for 40 years. He was stopped in that career because of claims that his diesel truck was killing people through the exhaust. There was a program in Los Angeles called the Clean Truck Program that basically put him out of work because he couldn't afford to buy a new truck. So this is the kind of environmental regulation that hurts real people, and especially here.
This is the okay boomer moment.
Here in Southern California.
I'll say also that many of the people who own homes, they're not allowed to water their lawns. Why? Because of environmental regulation laws, which are suppressing the natural right to use water.
It seems like an underlying...
The man said what?
Of environmental regulation laws. They're not allowed to water their lawns. Why? Because of environmental regulation laws, which are suppressing the natural right to use water.
It seems like an
Who killed your fucking lawn, brother? Who gives a shit about your lawn?
Issue with you guys is money, power, choice.
I don't give a shit about your lawn.
I grew up on a farm where there was a lot of regulation. Agriculture is very regulated. And then eventually there was this regulatory thing that came in called the Conservation Reserve Program, where we had to convert a part of our lands to prairie. At the time, my dad was very angry because we lost money from that. But that conservation area also created a buffer between the farm fields and the water to capture eroding soil so that it didn't go into the water and decrease the water quality. So I think there's certain regulations that we need to look at more long-term, look at the bigger picture, and although we may be losing money now, we could be earning it greater in the future. We need to look at it a bigger picture.
I really like your point.
We need to make sure that there will be a future.
About the water and the regulation of water, because I can remember that from a few years ago. And the reason they put that regulation in was because the snowpack wasn't there for that year. It's not like it was a random year where the government just said, start charging people for water. It's because the effect of climate change, one of the aspects of it is that we are not seeing consistent seasons. And I completely agree with a regulation that limits the amount of water, amount of precious resources.
Listen, you guys are gonna hate this take, okay? You're gonna hate me, and you're gonna get mauled, but I think it's trash, because people need to make an effort globally. Everybody has to make an effort, somewhat, at least somewhat, equally, okay, into being better with the environment, motherfucker. Guys, believe it or not, chat, the world is competitive. The world's companies, countries, it's very competitive. If you cut all your growth and your price and your juice afterwards, like now we are zero emission. Now we're rolling it. What do you think the other countries are going to do? Yo guys, these guys are saving, motherfucker. Yo, choo, motherfucker. Yo, juice that bitch up. Expand, fucking waste. Go faster, waste more. That's just, dude. It's just stupid, but it's how it is.
We have to consumers.
A regulation a lot of us didn't like when the cost of gas went up here in California, and we all had to have catalytic converters. But we've all agreed in this group that we're grateful that the air is clean like it wasn't when I was a kid. And we don't want those laws reversed, because we'd be back to the smog we had when I was a kid. So those regulations may not have been great at the time. They may not have made people happy, but we've all learned to live with it, and now we're grateful.
I'd like to bring up my concern about China again. On some days, the pollution levels in China can be 10 to 50 times what they are here in Southern California. They simply assign their citizens to wear gas masks. And then they take the jobs, the manufacturing jobs that used to be in this area, have now gone to China.
I might be missing it, but are you saying that you would rather have that
That's kind of our problem.
Manufacturing be in California and that we all wear gas masks all the time?
That's kind of
is
our
that
fault.
regulation that we have here that makes it expensive to have manufacturing here is what keeps us safe?
Guys, it's weird to make the manufacturer in another country because it's cheaper and say, oh my God, they're manufacturing and there's pollution over there. What the fuck? What the fuck? Guys, we have a job over here. No, manufacturing over there. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's polluting. What the fuck is going on over there?
No, I think you're misunderstanding me. You could bring manufacturing back, just like President Trump has done in various parts of the United States, by just making the economics work. So we can still keep the clean air, but we don't need to keep beating down. Now, some of the regulations now are more severe than they were 50 years ago. And what you need to do is talk to some of these businessmen that are faced with this on a day-to-day basis.
An eco-friendly lifestyle is expensive.
True. Not really.
We all know we're paying twice as much for gas as the rest of the country. I pay an enormous amount for energy in my little tiny one-bedroom condo. Wind and solar have been subsidized. So, I mean, we've already paid a fortune for it all.
You know, why not put some of these regulations to a vote instead of the EPA and all the rest of these administrative arms placing these regulations on us, taking more and redistributing more of our wealth or more of our money to pay for something that we're not even going to use or benefit from.
An eco-conscious lifestyle does not need to be expensive. There are incentives that are built into our policy that encourage people to live a more eco-conscious lifestyle. Because you have control over that. A lot of things we don't have control over, but you have control over how much you're buying at a grocery store and how much you're deciding to throw away.
Guys, eco-friendly isn't all of it 100% chat. It doesn't have to be that crazy, dude. Motherfucker, dude, just taking the bus and doing normal shit isn't crazy. It's
minimize
it's
that,
though.
scale it back in all regard. In how far you're driving, in the water, in the electricity, in all of the different sectors that impact climate change.
Maybe an effort where you
have the decision to make how much you're going to use, and there are direct cost savings with not being so wasteful.
I'm also an example of that. I drive an electric car, and it's not that hard in Los Angeles to get it charged. And in the future, it's going to be much easier for more and more people to have electric cars, especially as the cost of internal combustion engines keeps adding up. I spend a tremendous amount of time recycling plastic, recycling aluminum, and about every 6 months I go to the recycling yard myself, and it pays off very handsomely. Aluminum is extremely valuable. There's a lot of small
Stop bringing the fucking car into this, okay? When I bought the electric car at home in Texas, motherfucker, you guys all complained. Nobody was like, oh yeah, it's good for the environment. You guys said, no, it's bad for the environment. The batteries are bad to make.
Choices and a lot of larger choices. And you can make those choices quite easily.
Andes,
our entire yard is now all drought
signaling Andes.
That is your choice.
Yeah.
But what you are talking about is making choices for me.
No, you can choose to keep using water, but you're going to pay for it. You can choose to still have your green lawn. No one is coming around and saying you cannot do that, but you are going to pay for it.
Look, we can have a middle ground on this. There's a lot of people that believe in these things that are totally separate from the role of climate change. And a lot of these recycling and energy efficiency policies are very good. And I think most people would agree with them, and most of people are trying to adhere to them. I think what we're talking about, again, is the imposition, whether you force people to have drought-resistant lawns or you force people to have solar panels on their roof. I don't see any reason why people can't make choices like that on their own.
When it comes down to it, like those choices we make, what we buy, what...
Because they're hard to justify on the fly, to put that much money and as an investment. What it doesn't...
Whatever we vote on.
It's hard to explain though, dude.
It doesn't have to be expensive. But what we're trying to do is prevent these costs from getting bigger long term. I mean, I think we just simply need to change some of our choices and be a little...
Guys, you're not gonna convince some guy who's paycheck to fucking paycheck, barely living in his house, he can barely afford to put a fucking $15,000 fucking sunroof fucking solar panel, motherfucker, and say, yo, you have to do it, guys, because you have to save the planet while we fucking pump coal and shit up in this motherfucking bitch ass 24/7, hundreds of thousands of pounds of it, motherfucker. But us corporate billionaires, we're pumping out that. Oh, we can do that. But you piece of shit, paycheck. Fix your roof, you pussy bitch.
Truistic.
What the fuck is that mentality? Who thought about this?
About our future.
Fuck you, dude. What the fuck is that, man?
Yes, I definitely worry about our future. It's something I think about a lot. Because I watch and because I work with the data from climate science all over the country and all over the world. And I especially worry because I have 3 young sons, one of whom just has his birthday today. And I'm very worried that the planet they're going to inherit is already going to be much, much more difficult to live on than the one I inherited or one my parents gave to me.
The Constitution preamble, last part of it says, to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. I'm concerned about them, having liberty, having the freedom. Some people think that we don't have the right to choose having liberty to ourselves.
This guy is just lost.
To secure the Constitution preamble, last part of it says, to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity.
Oh,
I'm
my
concerned
God.
about them, having liberty, having the freedom. Some people think that we don't have the right to choose, how we should live. I mean, because you want to enforce your way of life on others.
I have 4 grandsons that I love more than life. I fear for their future that they are going to be living in a socialist country, because this is what this leads to. I don't have a voice in this state at all. I have no voice.
I worry about the future because I have 4 nieces, a nephew, and I'd like to have...
Motherfuckers can like some hoes, don't vote, complain about the votes when they don't get counted, when they didn't even vote for themselves. I can't.
My own someday and have kids. And so I think about the future and how degraded the environment could be, or how the amount of CO2 we're putting into the air and greenhouse gases increases. But I'm hopeful, because I found that there are people living in way worse conditions than I am, and they're full of hope because they understand that they have choices, that they can work hard to make a better life for themselves. I don't know about you guys, but at least for me, I'm gonna make choices that improve the environment, improve public health, and leave this place better for the future generations.
Guys, this guy's fair enough, though.
Hi, Natalie.
Hi, everyone.
It's the soy guy, but it's fair enough.
I'm not in fear. I have made the choice to not have children, and I honor that decision, and we all have that choice. And I don't operate from a place of fear. A big question that I don't know if we've addressed today or if we ever will address is who takes responsibility for the impact that we're having, because we know that we have an impact. So I just believe in using our purchasing power, our political power through our vote, through supporting policies that are going to create healthier communities, and basically doing the best that we can so that we can continue to enjoy our environment now and for future generations.
Hey, everybody.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Professor.
Very interesting.
Thank you,
to
sir.
meet you.
Interesting.